We have some brand new construction here at my zoo. Look at this, so cool to see. A massive load of wood right now. All right, we're getting it lined up. This is the tricky part. We're gonna pour that concrete in. Look at the progress. Look at this, it's so cool. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you guys are having just an absolutely amazing day. And for those of you that are new here, well, I'm Jacob, and welcome to my jungle. If you guys saw the title and thumbnail, you will know for today's video that we have some brand new construction here at my zoo. I've been working all week in my back grove constructing a brand new, ginormous, beautiful habitat for some animals. I'm not going to tell you guys what the heck animal we're putting in that habitat yet. Not just one animal, but multiple animals. I'm not going to tell you guys just yet, but the construction has come along so well. We've been at it for 5 days, and in 5 days, the progress that we've made has just been amazing. So if you want to know what animal we're putting in that habitat, and you want to see the entire process from the ground up, well guys, you are in the right place, and we're gonna hop right into that. Alright guys, I just made it to my back grove this morning, and we have some serious construction going on here at my preserve. I just want to let you guys know that we have an official name for the property. Was calling it Jacob's Jungle before, so you guys can still call it Jacob's Jungle, but it is officially known as the Redland Conservation Center. And we've got some exciting construction, like I was saying, that's going on. We got the Kubota auger, which we're gonna use to drill the holes for our new habitat that's being constructed. So we got my neighbor over here today. We got the beautiful Kubota going on. We also have another habitat that I just put up the other day that's panels, but it's not done yet. We still gotta paint it and do all kinds of good stuff. So we got this new habitat, which is actually pretty large right here. You can see it's about 50 feet long, 16 feet wide, and 12 feet tall. So we could use this for all kinds of things. I think that this is gonna be like a play yard for baby animals. I don't think I'm gonna have a permanent resident in here. So it's cool, we got our double door over here. Well, it's not a double door yet. I'm gonna make it a double door. But basically, you come right here, and you open this latch. You can see it's kind of painted this brown color, but I wanna do it all black. So when you come on in, you can really see just how large this is. It's so cool to see all of this coming together. Let's head on out. I'm going to show you kind of what we're working on over on the other side of the grove. So the new habitat that's going up is going to be right next to Cheech and Chong. So basically the new habitat is going to be just as long as this one, but it's going to be another 8 feet wide, and it's going to be 15 feet tall. So right now this enclosure is 32 feet long, 16 feet wide, and 10 feet tall. The one that we're mapping out is going to be 32 feet long, 24 feet wide, and 15 feet tall for clouded leopard. So right now we're actually mapping out the whole enclosure. So every 8 feet there's a nail in the ground, and every single spot there's a nail in the ground is where one of these poles is going to go. So these are the main structural poles that we're going to be using that is going to go this whole way. So right now this habitat, pretty much this entire large square is what it's going to inhabit. And what's really cool is going to be giving the clouded leopards the height that they deserve. 15 feet tall is going to be really cool for them because they're going to be able to go up high, go down low. And by giving them that height, the clouded leopards are going to be able to exhibit their natural climbing behaviors, which is going to be really cool to see here. So I'll be back with all of you once the enclosure is mapped out, and we're going to start digging the holes.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So the guys have just done 4 of the holes for the new habitat. So right now they've done 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, like I was saying, and these holes go down about 5 feet. So we got to watch out that we don't fall into it. And the whole enclosure has been marked off by the string, so it's going to be perfectly level and in line. So all the holes are perfect. So the reason why we have to use this auger bit is because the ground here in South Florida in this area is so hard, it's almost like rock. You can see it's just pure limestone rock. So it's nearly impossible to do it by hand. So we got the entire auger bit down there. You can see it's just coming on out just like that. I'd say that this bit, and it's probably about 4.5 feet. We got Caesar, Island Tiki on the machinery. And I think we're gonna go to our next hole, which is right over here. So they're getting the auger bit in line, so it's perfectly even. I think we're going in right now. 3, 2, 1. All right, yep, going in. Look at this, so cool to see all of the ground. And you can see all of the rock that's coming out of the ground right now. It's just going through the limestone little bit by little bit. So the guys from Island Tiki just got back right now, and they got all the material for the new habitat, plus our perimeter poles. Look at this load. This is a massive load of wood right now. You can see there's about 1 million poles on here. Honestly, there's got to be a couple hundred, so I think that these big ones here, these are the 25-foot poles that we're going to be using. And there's all kinds of poles. We got some rain coming in, So if the lens is a little fogged up, it's because of the rain, but look at this. This is so crazy. So right now, all the holes have been drilled out and they are ready for pulls. So right now, Caesar's actually setting all of the 20-foot telephone poles into the holes that we actually dug on out. So you can see we have our 3 main vertical poles going in here. But the biggest problem is all of the 20-foot poles that we need are actually on the bottom. So we have to move all the other wood to actually get to these 20-foot poles. These poles are 6 inches wide. These poles are 6 inches wide and 20 feet long. So it's gonna be a lot of work to move it, but luckily we don't have to do it by hand because we've got the machine. But right now, I'm actually gonna set a time lapse up so you guys can see it all. The poles are set and Caesar and his guys are getting ready and getting them concreted in. So you can kind of see the overall structure. Right now, I think they're like 16 feet tall, so we're gonna be cutting a foot off of the poles. But right now the guys are concreting the poles in the ground and they gotta kind of do it slowly. So they're just kind of adding some water in right there. And they're getting ready to dump some of the Quikrete concrete right on in the poles. That's what we use to kind of concrete them in. So let's see them just pour on in right now. Just gonna pour that concrete in. So these are 60-pound concrete bags. We're gonna use about 4 bags per pole, so it's gonna give us a lot of strength to keep these poles nice and secure. And once they're all nailed together, it's gonna be super strong, super secure. So we got a bunch of concrete in there, and we've got pretty much all of them already concreted. These, not so much, but I know for a fact, starting at this corner is where they kind of first started. So you can see this one's been curing for some time. So it's gonna take some time for these poles to fully cure before we can start to work. If we start nailing and getting to work right after, if the poles shift a little bit, then it's not gonna work at all. The poles are perfectly in line. If you kind of look down the center right here, you could see that they're perfectly in line, besides this one, because this one has not been set yet. But all of these that are set, you can see these guys did a great job at keeping them perfectly centered. That way when we hang the wire up, it's gonna be perfect. You can see these guys are working hard. So if you need any crazy tiki huts or enclosures built, well, hit them up. So while the guys are on lunch, I have come over to the feed store to get all of the wire fencing for the enclosures. As you know, we have the wire panels, and I actually get them right here at the feed store. So we got the wire fencing here, and then this is where I actually get all the poles. So you can see there's like a million different poles. Those are those big 25-footers. But right over here is all of the wire. So we got 2 different choices on what we can go for. We've got the 4x4 wire, which has a much bigger opening, but what I prefer is this 2x4 wire. This is what I use for all of it. It's much smaller. Monkeys can't get out of it. It's really strong and good. So we're actually loading 30 of these panels up right now. We're lifting it up. We don't want it to pop. All right, we're getting it lined up. This is the tricky part because we don't want the ends to fold in. All right, we got one side almost down. I think it's touching there and here. Okay, I think we got it. It's good. All the panels are loaded up. We got them completely strapped down right now, so they're not going anywhere. So right now, it is time to head home and get to work.
The next morning.
Good morning, my beautiful people. It is day 3 of our habitat build, and for 3 days, we made some serious progress. So let me show you guys. We've already been working for about an hour this morning, and I'm just now hopping on to share it with all of you. So yesterday, all the poles got set, and this morning, the guys have already started on the footers. So right now, we got to do the same footers like we did on the serval habitat. Now, we moved the servals out so they don't get disturbed, and these are safety barrier holes that are actually going up, so we can have safety barriers so no one can actually come up to the enclosures of the cats. So this is going to be really nice that we have all of these holes in line. So there's going to be a nice pole set and ropes. By having these safety barriers in place, it's going to keep the animals safe. It's going to keep people safe. And right now, we're doing the footers like I was telling you guys, the same footers. Again, we moved the servals out so they don't get scared of the chainsaws. And these footers are what we're going to attach the wire to. So you can see we got this side completely in. We got one more to cut here, and that's in, as well as this other side. The only thing that we're missing over here is this little area, but for the most part, all of this is nailed in and secure, which is exactly what we want. Right now, all the footers are in place and nailed in, and now the first header is going up. So we got 2 ladders and 2 scaffolds and 3 guys lifting probably a 200-pound log up on their shoulders. Our first 16 footers going up, and then there's gonna be another one that's going up to 16 foot, and these guys have almost got it. Almost, this is crazy. I would not, oh, and look at that, it's up. Our first top post is in. It looks so sick. Look at that. First one in, 15 feet tall. So cool. So it's now day 4 of the enclosure build, and you guys would not believe the progress in 4 days. From nothing to this right here, the frame is completely built. Right here, there's going to be 3 25-foot beams going across. We already have the 2 end pieces in, but we have to put in the cross beams here, which is going to be really crazy. They're going to lift it up on their shoulders, 25 foot in the air. But just look at it from this distance. Look how sick this looks. This is gonna be so cool. I'm so happy that I'm able to give these animals the best possible life that they can have here in captivity by building them these incredible habitats. The clouded leopards are gonna utilize this habitat incredibly well. They're gonna use that height, and I can't wait to see it all put together. Now, right now, they're using my staple gun to actually put together the wire. You can see we got all the wire in place. Look at that. Come right here, and you can see we already have the first 2 panels in. You can really see it right here. And also, all the safety barriers around the enclosures are gonna be in. So I will be back with all of you once we have some more progress. I said I'd be back when I had an update, and there has been some serious progress in the past day. It is now day 5 of the build. And before we go any further, this right here, you see that little scratch right there? I walked into a piece of wire. Everyone's gonna be asking me in the comments how this happened. There was a hanging piece of wire, walked right into it, but look at the progress. Look at this, it's so cool. So all of the header beams, like I was telling you, the 25-foot beams are installed, nailed in. We got hurricane straps on them, and almost all of the wire is in place. So you can see these guys are holding up the wire. I've done this on a lot of enclosures, so I don't want to do it. It's just very time consuming to get it right. So I like to just supervise it. The wire is up on this whole side, and then the whole front section over here, the wire is completely in, which is really cool. So you can see we got to cut this tree back because we don't want the tree falling. So we're going to cut this tree back significantly. And you can see all of the wire paneling is up, and it's perfectly straight and even. Now, this is one project, and then another project some of the rest of the crew has been working on is all these safety barriers going up around the enclosure. So it's fully around the serval enclosures now. So we got all these barriers in place and ready to go. We have Mrs. Chini here. Hello, Mrs. China. Hi, baby girl. Hi, sweet China. You're so nice and kind and sweet. So China's hanging out right now. And look at this, we got all the poles in place, so I just gotta get the roping, but we're just gonna do a 360. We're gonna make our way back to the new clouded leopard habitat, and I'm gonna actually grab the staple gun. I'm gonna staple some of the lower panels, and I'm gonna show all of you how it's done. So when building these enclosures, we have to use a specific 9-gauge staple. So when we use these staples, you can either do it one of 2 ways. You could sit here and hammer thousands of staples at a time, or you could buy this DeWalt staple gun, which is literally the best thing. So DeWalt, if you see this, this is the best tool. Sponsor me, please. So right now, we're gonna start stapling right now. In 3, 2, 1, we're gonna come right here and let's go. And well, that, my friends, is going to end today's episode. I hope all of you guys did enjoy watching today's video on all of the new construction here at the Redland Conservation Center. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support. I do read all your comments. I try to reply and get back to as many emails and comments as I can, but when it comes to making content for all of you, as well as caring for all of my wildlife, well, guys, takes up most of my time, so just know from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for watching. There's definitely going to be a part 2 and a part 3 to this build where we actually decorate the inside. We do platforms and perches. We're going to be putting plants and adding the new animals. So again, definitely a part 2, maybe even a part 3. So if you guys want to see the rest of this build, well, guys, all you have to do is go right now, hit the subscribe button, tap that little notification bell, and you'll be notified whenever I post.